So here we are for Season 2 of F1 2014 Career Mode. We're going to be going for a new team this season, and it's a team that I've really wanted to drive for a very long time. So without further ado, let's go. So we're going to be going with Mclaren for this season. Mclaren are genuinely a midfield team in the 2014 game. They're going to be a lot slower than what Ferrari are, so it's going to be very interesting. I'm not too sure if we're going to be able to go for the championship, but that might actually be a good thing because we might have, I guess, more midfield battles, I suppose. So we'll see how we go this season. I was actually going to go with Marussia initially for this season, so what you're seeing now is just the highlights of actually the first race. I actually went ahead and did this, but it wasn't until I actually did the race itself that I realized how much of a bad choice I actually made. I thought I was going to go for something different. I ended up qualifying last, 6/10 slower than our teammate Jules Bianchi, even getting out qualified by the Caterhams, and I was on a really good lap. But now, as you can see already, got off to a pretty terrible start. Going through the first corner, and this is probably the highlight of the race. Just cutting through the field, I gained a bunch of positions in the opening couple of corners of the Grand Prix. As you can see, going up the inside into turn 3, and we've made ourselves up into P14. But from there on in, it really didn't get any better, because from there, the Marussia was just so damn slow, and just all aspects, you know, straight line speed, rear traction, just turn in, it was understeery. And then from lap 3 onwards, the tyre wear. Oh my god, the tyre wear really started to kick in. You can see it now just going through turn 4, just losing the back end like crazy. And then again, I got a little bit of grass on the tyres, and then from there I was just a turtle going through the final corner, which is a bitch of a corner anyway, but when you've got grass on the tyres on a Marussia, it was just a nightmare. Look at that, just going straight in the wall, and that was the race over. And as you can see from the slow-mo, it's just, I knew from then on that I made a really bad choice, and I think it would have been a really bad career mode choice for you guys to watch. So we're not going to be driving for Marussia this season. We'll be driving for Mclaren, and I think it's going to be a really good choice. I think it's going to be similar to Season 3 of F1 2013 career mode, where we were in the Force India battling, you know, in the top 10, you know, top 5, sometimes podiums, and then the odd race win. We actually continued to improve our pace and then went on to win that season. So maybe we might have the same sort of season this year, depending on how the research and development goes. But here we go, leaving the pits now for our first installation lap in the Mclaren, and hopefully it's a good car. Coming through the final corner, this is just practice, by the way. Just, you know, getting a feel for the car, just trying to understand its limits and where I can achieve lap time and stuff. Setting a 29.3, which is a fairly decent lap on prime tyres, 10 laps of fuel, and we actually ended up in second place at the end of P3, so fairly good lap, and it goes without saying that we got through Q1 without any major issues, so we'll just cut through that. And now cutting straight to Q2, our banker time in Q2 was actually not good enough to get us into the top 10, so now we need to go for another run here at the very end of the session, putting on 3 laps of fuel and just having a blast. Bottas is the cutoff point at a 128.0. Can we beat it now? Coming up to the line, only just. So with only a few seconds left to go in the session, we just sneak into Q3 in 9th place. And now here we go for our qualifying lap in Q3, very end of the session. Since myself and Button only just squeezed in, I thought, you know, maybe we're not major contenders for qualifying in this round. So I thought I'd just spare the extra set of options that I'd use in this session. I just thought I'd use the extra set that I get at the very end of the session so I could sort of have more sets of tyres for the race. So here we go, end of the session, 3 laps of fuel, and just going for a red hot go, really. Our first sector has been fairly solid so far, hitting all the major apexes that we need to hit. Actually going 1/10 purple to the first sector intermediate, and that's actually very surprising for a midfield car. Very impressed with that, but with this car, with this track, the way that the AI work, we lose all of our time in the 3rd sector, so that's where we need to make up most of our time if we want to get a decent qualifying position in this race. Something like a second is lost in the final sector. As we go through the middle sector now, only half a tenth off, so we're very, very close to Rosberg's provisional pole time at the moment, so that's what I'm aiming for as we go through this dreaded 3rd sector now. It's not these couple of corners that give me grief, or this one gives me a little bit of understeer, but it's the the penultimate, and then the final corner, just struggling for rear traction. It's just an absolute nightmare, just with the way that the handling model is, and with a steering wheel. It's just very hard to carry any momentum through that final corner without, losing the back end like crazy. But now, coming up to the line, where will we end up in our first qualifying session? It's third. Wow. So third place in our first qualifying session for McLaren. I was really not expecting that after, some of the results we had in Q2, just barely making it into that session itself. To get best of the rest in third place. I'm very happy with that. And now here we are in the pre-race garage. We can see our race strategy, 2 stops, option, prime, option. So we'll see how that goes. Goes without saying, a new season, we have no upgrades on the car. So if you remember back to the last season, the tyre wear was pretty bad in the opening couple of races. So I think we're going to be dealing with similar circumstances here. So I think we'll go for option, prime maybe. But here we can see the race setup, going with 4 wings for this race here, just ever so slightly higher than what we ran with the Ferrari, just because I feel like this McLaren just needs a little bit more downforce in order to achieve the lap time. So here we go, first race of the season, first race for McLaren. Let's get it underway. Alright, so here we are on the grid of our home race, first race for McLaren as well. I've been waiting a long time for this. 5 red lights, and away we go for Season 2 of F1 2014 Career Mode. As always, terrible start. Ricciardo is going to fly up her inside coming into turn 1 now. Just look at everyone going defensive. It's going to open up this second corner for us beautifully. We've gone into the lead of this race on the exit of turn 2, and now we've got the 2 Mercs behind us about 2 or 3 seconds back. I think, Hamilton has dropped back by about 2 or 3 positions at least. He's had a shocker coming off the exit of turn 1. Ricciardo is now up to 3rd, and now look at us. We've got a 2 or 3 second lead over Nico Rosberg in 2nd, so this has been a dream start for us so far. I'm just looking through the cinematic views. You can't even see Hamilton within the lead group of those cars, so maybe he's got damage. I must say that we do have realistic damage on for this championship as well as a few other mods, but I'll go into that at a later date. But so far, first lap, just trying to stretch out our legs, try and stretch out that lead as much as I can, but looks like it hasn't worked. Lap 3, Rosberg is now all over our rear wing now, and with the help of DRS, I think he's going to fly past us on the next lap, maybe even this lap. Even Sebastian Vettel trying to have a go coming into turn 1, but can't quite get the move done. We've also got Rosberg who tried to go around our outside there through turn 1, but as always, couldn't really get the move done either. So lap 4, very next lap, we can see Rosberg is on the attack once again. Vettel trying to have a look into turn 1. It's almost 3 wide as Vettel backs out of it there, so we maintain the lead for now. Lap 8 now coming in for our first pit stop of the race. I think we're going on to a set of primes. But Vettel has actually stayed out for another lap. He's trying to do the overcut. I think maybe Red Bull have given Ricciardo the preference on the pit stops. God knows why, because he's not the lead of the 2 Red Bull cars, so that's kind of going to waste. So we'll see how that goes. But Rosberg is also staying out, is he? I think he is, yes. So we're the first of the cars to make, or the first of the leaders really, to make their first pit stop. So the undercut should work for us here as we rejoin on the track in P6. We've got a few cars just coming in on the next lap, so hopefully there won't be too much traffic. As we rejoin on the next lap, we can see Raikkonen and Vettel making their stops. Rosberg has got jumped by us, but Vettel, using the overcut, he's taking the lead of this race, effective lead of the race. Massa's still yet to pit, so he's in the lead of the race for now. But Vettel on option tyres for this middle part of the race, and now I'm just trying to push as much as I can to stay with him. And we actually cut the corner there and lost our front wing. Wow. So with the realistic damage on, this kind of eliminates little mistakes like this, and we've made a big one here coming into the fast left-right chicane. It's completely just disintegrated our front wing. Just going over that bollard, fairly unlucky there. Just turning in a little bit too early. It's only like a tenth or two, of a mistake. Just turning in that little much too early, and it's cost us big time. Dropping down into P5 now. We're going to have to limp this thing back into the pits. I think we're going to put on another set of prime tyres, just resume the strategy we were on before. but now I think we can definitely go onto the option tyres for the end of the race, because we can get about 10, maybe 11 laps out of this current set of primes, and that'll take us to about lap 21, maybe even 22, and then from there I think we could easily make a set of options last to the end. So we'll see how that goes. Rejoining on the track, we're well outside the points, almost towards the back markers around the Saubers and maybe even the Marushas. So we need to really work hard now, try and get up the field as much as we can now. We've got fresher tyres, so we don't really need to worry about tyre wear for the rest of this race. So that's one bonus, just trying to find the positives in this race if we can. And with the realistic damage, you never know. There might even be a safety car, so that might actually save our bacon as well. So lap 14, we've caught up to the back of Fernando Alonso, who is well down the order in P10 and only just coming in for his pit stop now. So he's effectively fighting for fringe points in this race. So that is a massive turnaround for Ferrari from season 1. And now rejoining on lap 15, we can see somebody has lost their wing. I think it's a Toro Rosso. Is it John-Eric Verne in front of us? He's slowing up Grosjean. Grosjean going very slowly. He's got nowhere to go. And now we got the inside of him. It could even be Daniel Kvyat. Is it? No, he's got his front wing as well. So I don't know. That's really weird. Maybe if it's even Ricciardo. We'll see as we go past him now, and I think Ricciardo has lost his front wing, so everyone getting held up by Ricciardo there. That's given us, what, 4 or 5 positions there, and now we're up into P6, so that's a fairly massive swing for us in this race over just the course of one lap. And now lap 16, we've caught up to the back of Rosberg very quickly, I must say. He was about 5 seconds up the road, and now he's just leaking so much time. I don't know why. Look at that. Just braking so early coming into corners. I think for sure he's got some kind of brake problem, and we see this a lot, even in F1 2013, even the Mercedes as well. Just brake problems for the AI, and look at that, it's the case for Rosberg there, just braking so early going into that corner there. And I think he's going to be a major problem for the midfield runners once they catch him, and now we're trying to push on, trying to catch Massa, who's a long way up the road. And just look at this on the replay, just how close we got to that bollard. That could have been a repeat of what we saw just a few laps ago, just about playing Russian roulette with the bollard there, but we got away with it on that occasion. And now we're coming in on lap 21 for our final pit stop of the race, going on to the option tyres, and this should see us through to the end of the race, hopefully without too much tyre wear. We even saw in this stint, as I was trying to stretch out this current set of primes, that I got quite a bit of tyre wear and it was starting to affect me a little bit. So if I would have carried on my current strategy, I think we would have struggled quite a lot, and option stint at the end wouldn't have been possible. As you can see there, going through the bollard once again, that time we actually got away with it. So very, very lucky that the Codemasters damage system isn't quite consistent. But either way, lap 25, we can see Vettel coming out of the pits for an unscheduled pit stop for sure. With the chances of, realistic damage, there's always a chance that the AI can make mistakes, and it looks like Vettel has done that. And we're going to go up the inside coming into turn 3, and he just leaves us the room. We leave him the room as well, and we go around the outside through turn 4. That's us up into P4, and we're still not quite there yet. Now we've got the move done, and now lap 26 is only a couple of laps left to go. Vettel is on fresh tyres, of course, so he's going to be very hard to keep behind. As we can see, 2 cars going off there. We've moved up into P3 as Massa got tangled up with Max Chilton there. And as you can see on the replay, Chilton just rejoining onto the track. It's forced myself and Vettel to go off the track to sort of avoid them. That was a dangerous re-entry there for Chilton. But we can't quite see what really happened there. We sort of saw the aftermath of what happened. And since both cars have their front wings on, I can only assume that maybe they had a side pod glitch moment there or something, because there's no damage on either car. I'm guessing they spun out and they're just rejoining onto the track once again. So that was very weird. Massa leaking like 10 seconds there. So that's a very, very costly mistake for him. And now we've been gifted 3rd place in this race. As we can see, Vettel still trying to find a way past us now. There's only 3 laps left in this race. As I mentioned before, his tyres are very fresh, so it's almost impossible. It's going to be very hard to keep him behind at least. So we'll see how this battle plays out. As we can see, final lap, Kimi Räikkönen, out of all the runners in this race, has won this one here in Melbourne. He's pretty much doing what I did in Season 1 of Career Mode, just continuing on from where I left off. But Hamilton finishing in 2nd place after getting a fairly tardy start, getting really screwed over coming into Turn 1, and he dropped a bunch of positions. He had to fight his way back through to finish 2nd. It looks like we're going to finish 3rd though. As we come through the final corner, we can see Vettel is still right there. We get a poor exit off the final corner now, putting it up into fast to defend from Vettel. It's going to be very close coming up to the line, and it looks like he might have actually jumped us there. Yes, he has. So we've lost a podium in our home race here in Melbourne, our first race for McLaren, and we just came so close to getting a podium, but not quite enough to get it in the end. Raikkonen wins over Lewis Hamilton, 6.6 seconds in the end. Myself and Vettel finishing dead even on the timing sheets there, so that's just incredibly unlucky to miss out on a podium there. But I'm sure we'll have many other chances to maybe get one over the course of the season. I think Monaco is going to be our best chance for a podium. Maybe even a race win, who knows. But it's been a really good race here, first up in career mode. A really crazy one in the end. We got destroyed by that bollard. We came back through the field, doing an extra pit stop. We negotiated Ricciardo, who had his lost front wing, and he finished 9th in the end. And then there was Nico Rosberg, who had his brake problems, who finished 8th in the end. So that was a very good recovery drive there from Nico to get that result. And also there was Lewis Hamilton, who got off to a very bad start initially, and then he come back through the field and managed to only just finish behind Raikkonen, who set a really good race in the end. He lapped a lot of cars, so for Kimi to do that in his first race back in Formula 1, because we took his seat in Season 1, that's very impressive indeed. But the constructors, look at that, Toro Rosso up in P4 in the standings, McLaren P5, Jensen, he lost his front wing on the first lap. I didn't really touch on that too much, but yeah, he had to make an extra pit stop as well, but that screwed him over even more. He had to pass a lot of the back markers as well, so very crazy race for a lot of people. Mercedes aren't dominating just yet. Raikkonen has really put the foothold on that so far. So that's been the first episode of Career Mode. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. But until the next race in Malaysia, I'll see you guys next time.